So today I'm gonna share my experience with Puma Velocity Nitro 2. Um, the difference over here. Uh, it's it's a Velocity. Not sure. There you go. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's a Velocity Nitro 2 Fade, and it's actually the first running shoe I bought. Daily Trainer. They call it Daily Trainer. It really feels good compared to the first shoes that I used. This one is really comfortable. Before I was using this shoe over here. It's actually called mm, Light Race Adapter or Light Racer Adapt 5. I think it's the version 5.0 or something. And every time I reach like 5 kilometers, I already feel the heat on feet because this one it's really hot. Even the 4.0. The nice thing about that shoe is that there's very, very little cushion, and you can really feel the ground every time you take a walk or run. So it's like you're running barefooted or with minimal, or not really, or but it feels like you're barefooted because you can feel the ground every step of the way. So I think it's a good way to do your recovery run, a really short recovery run, because it feels good. Uh, anyway, going back here, so as you notice, I have ran 228.1 kilometer. Not really ran, but it's a combination of run and walk, but mostly run. 228.1 kilometers for the Adidas Light Racer Adapt 5.0, and Puma Velocity Nitro 2 Fade. I have ran more than 200, well, more or less 308.7 kilometers run and walk. This is a combination of run and walk. And if we're going to look, but before we dive into the topic about, or before we focus on Puma Deviate Nitro, just a brief background about my history on running. So I registered in Strava in July, but as you can see, I, I, I wasn't active, barely active. But I was already doing cycling or doing um, bicycle rides during this time. It's just that I'm not recording it. I just registered and then that's all. I think this is one of the mistakes I did. What's nice about Strava is even if you change your tools or for example, your watch or how you track your activities from, for example, me from Samsung to Garmin, then you can still continuously track it here, and you can see the progress relatively so you can commit that. So as you notice here, I did a few run in January of last year, and then I ran 2 runs, or 5 runs in February of last year. The longest run I did here was I was a 14.1 kilometers, so that's almost 10 miles or 9 miles, roughly 9 miles. And the reason for that is because I was really slow when I did this. Um, there, if you notice, I spent 2 hours and 22 minutes, and that's a 10:05 pace. So really slow and best effort. And that is in South Cotabato, when I visited the family of Aman. Now going back here, so I still continued to run The longest run I had in February was a 4.95 kilometers. This one I did, I think, um, yeah, here, because in 2022, one of the challenges is that before 2021 or pandemic, I was doing a kilometer or 2 kilometer run. Some rare. It's a rare. Every time I feel like running, that's the only time I ran in Magallanes village. However, because of pandemic, so Magallanes village locked their gate, and we are unable to run inside the subdivision. So that was the problem. And that's also the reason why I bought a bicycle, because it's the best way for me to go to MOA and still do my exercises. So there. In March, so I only have 4. April, I try to be as active as I can. Every time I do my bike ride, so I also do there around 2 kilometers run. And in May, I did not do any run. So as you notice, I was very inconsistent with my runs. It's more of a bike ride. In 2022, I'm more focused on bike rides during that time. But there as well. So in February, I started to become active. So you notice it's like consecutive 6 consecutive days I was running like 2 kilometers each day. So that's just like one lap. But still, I did try my best, and my pace was really fast. If you notice, 7. I was that tired doing these runs. Anyway, so in February I started trying to run daily because I bought Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 to monitor my heart rate, and at the same time monitor my heart rate while running. And then when I feel like running, I do runs. Still very inconsistent. Even in April, I only did like 1, oh gosh, or 4. And then in May, that's when I started to somehow be more active, because I have like more than 10. And then in June, almost every day, I have like a rest, like there, if you notice. So 1 to 2 days of rest. But and my runs here are averaging at, I think, 2 and 4. It's ranging from 2 to 4. But take note that I during these runs I also do walks. So I run like 2 minutes, and then I walk. Then I run another 2 minutes and then walk. So still on, because I'm still starting. And then after that, in July, you notice I have a lot of rest because this is the rainy season. It was raining for 3-4 days already, and then I still continue to run though. But the problem is I only have like 3 or 4 shoes during that time, so I have no choice but to really just keep running and wait for my shoes to dry up before I can run. Same in August, so I have like 2 rest. But if you notice, the length of the distance increased from max of 5 in June. In July, I started getting like, still around 2, 4. I started to make it higher, around 5. And then I've been more consistent with the increase of my distance in August. So I have like 10 kilometers already. So I started running 10 kilometers, if you notice. And then in September, um, I think it's the late September where I started running like 10 kilometers every day there. uh, yeah. So, and then in October, more constantly, I do the run like 10, minimum of 5 kilometers, maximum of 10. I even have 16 kilometers. See? So, gradually, I was increasing my distance. I wasn't, but still the habit of running, walking is there. But in November, I started running shorter distance, like 8 kilometers, 5 kilometers. But the thing that's improving there is I've been more consistent in running all throughout those sessions. Like for 8 kilometers, I only have like a minute or 2 minutes of walk, and the rest of the 45 minutes is all run. So same with December, and I think this is also the reason why I was able to complete a half marathon in November. That's a Thursday, so there's no event during that time, but I did it here. Oh, I did it here in Fukok. So my pace here was significantly faster than the usual. However, it was decreasing because my energy level during that time was already depleting. So around 16 kilometers or even 13 kilometers, I started to drop to 7K, 7 minutes per kilometer compared to when I started like 5 minutes per kilometer. And my last lap was like 7 and 27 per kilometer to 808, right? And the reason for that is because I'm not sure, or I didn't know about energy gels, um, the nutrients that I should have taken in on the 10 kilometer or even earlier. Because by that time, after the 10 kilometer, that's when I started to lose energy. So that's what happened. Anyway, moving on. And here, so as you notice in the training log, so I tried to improve my pace, and at the same time, so that the distance has improved. Now, that's my longest run for the whole year. So just for a starter, I think I did. It's a good thing that we were able to do a 21 or half marathon in my first 6 months of running, consistent running. So it was fun. I'm doing it because I'm enjoying it, and not because I'm aiming for. And well, I think it's also a good way to prepare myself for the Sydney Marathon. So though my goal there is just to finish the whole marathon. It doesn't matter if it's 5 hours, but the goal is not to somehow exceed 7 hours of running. And the weather there right now is really hot, so I hope that on September 15 the weather would be just fine. Yeah, I hope it would be raining somehow, because it really feels good to run while it's raining. I'm just not sure if I can be more consistent if it's a 42-kilometer run. So I will just prepare for that activity though. Anyway, so these are for the Adapt Adidas Light Racer Adapt 4. These were my runs. So I have 56 runs, and most of them are 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers. Right? The last time I used it was in October 3 because it's really, really, uh, well, well, we can say that it's really hot when you use it running. For the Dap Racer 5.0, there, dark blue. This is one of the shoes that I use almost daily for 5 kilometer and 8 and 10. But the challenge here is that it's really also hot. So if you notice, the last time I used it was in when I started running 10Ks. It's not comfortable at all. So on this same month, that's when I shifted to Puma Velocity Nitro 2 Fade. So if you observed here, starting October 4, I started using it for my 10K, 16K runs there. And it really feels good. Even with these long runs, my pace ain't that good. Well, it's not an elite level, but it's a good training for me to somehow complete a 10K in less than 10 hours. I mean, 1 hour, in less than 1 hour. Feels good. Really feels good. So, there. Now, just to give you a glimpse of how the place, this is where I usually run. It's still trying to load. There you go. So if you notice, this is my running path. So it's very rare that you will see. It's not really rare. There are fewer cars passing through this path. More of a cyclist and runners as well. Especially in the morning. So and it's also there are a lot of trees that makes you feel really good, and not really feel the heat that much. So there. This is my first. Well, the church is near there, so I just captured a photo. This is how it looks like, and this is where my last stop is. Every time I do my run, and then this is where I do my stretches after the run. So, well, most likely not stretches, but more of yoga posts. The downward dog and so on, the warriors pose, and a few stretches as well. So there. Okay, now I'm planning to share with you a video, but it's not working right now, so maybe I can share it some other time. How the nitrate, or the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 Fade looks like after a 100-kilometer run when I first purchased it, and after a 300-kilometer run. Okay, so this is the Velocity Nitro 2 Fade after a 100-kilometer run. It's still orange. Didn't change. You see a little scratch, very rare scratches all over the shoe. I think it's a nice shoe to keep. Something that you can really, it's really a hard working shoe, considering its price. Now, how did I purchase it? It's through Lazada, just in case you're curious and want to know how I got it. The Puma on Lazada is, I'm not sure if we can call them retailer, but they are the ones who deliver original products of Puma. I also verified that when I went online, puma.com.ph, I think that's the website. So I checked if they are related to the Lazada Puma store, and they said they are the same. So I think it's a good spot to purchase, especially during sale. That's it. So just take a look around. And then after that, we're going to check out Puma after, or the Velocity Nitro 2 Fade after 300K. All right. Now this is the Velocity Nitro 2 fade after 300k. It's almost the same as it was when it was at 100k. You will barely see any change at all. And when I was running on it, even after the 100k, 200k, and even the 300k, it still feels the same. So I'm not sure if it's gonna fade. I think one factor that really helps here is that um, my weight somehow is something that the shoe can accommodate. That's why it's still intact as it was 100k or 200k or 300k ago. So uh, I'm gonna roll over the video still and see how it see how it was. It's a good buy. That's the overall verdict for this one, and it's really a hard-working daily trainer, so it's something you can keep for a long time and for long runs. That's all. Thank you. Take care.